Kia ora everyone, welcome back to episode 2 of Optimise, the podcast where we break down all things health and wellness, physically, mentally, socially and spiritually. I am Fraser from the Optimal Health Model, here with my co-host Steve Booth from Booth S&C Strength and Conditioning. And together we're going to explore how you can optimize every aspect of your life. So Steve, brother, episode 2, here we are.
Just like that.
How you been?
I've been good, man. How you been?
Pretty good. It's a relatively busy week, and it's very administrative. Lots of documents needing to be attended to, and applications and just
All the
annoying,
fun
annoying work.
stuff. Yeah. I heard Dylan Werner once say, "You'd be surprised how long I spend at a computer."
I know.
And it's not right.
Yeah, bro. I haven't actually told you I'm doing a Dylan Werner teacher training,
That'll be valuable. That will
Very.
be bang for your buck.
bro, and we'll get him on a podcast.
Oh, I'd love to pick that guy's brain. How old is he? 41, 42?
I think he's about. Oh, he's probably. I remember looking it up, and it said he was 37, which was like 5 or 6 years ago. So it's probably
Yeah.
42, 43.
Yeah. Looks 21.
Yeah, man. He's doing it's called MIA, which is myofascial integrated alignment.
Yep. He's
It's
big
in
on those
Bali.
lines. Yeah. Is he living there?
I think so.
Yeah. Smart
Yeah.
decision.
Yeah, he just kind of made the WhatsApp group, so everyone's starting to pipe up and say where they're from and
Cool.
what they're up to.
Right, you'll get some big breakthroughs, eh?
Yeah, man, I can't wait for it. It's been Cora has been telling me to do it for a few years because I've wanted to do it for 5, but I never had the time or the money or the freedom to be able to travel the world to go do a training. So it's very exciting.
When is it?
That's it's October the 21st
Yeah.
over in Bali, and 2 days before I'm in Germany for a Les Mills live workshop.
Oh, you're going to be jet lagged at those handstand practices.
Bro, it's going to be tough. It's 24 hours of travel. I'll leave at 10 p.m. at night, and then
Oh,
I'll get to Bali at midnight and have to get up at 6:30 to start.
yeah. Yeah, planes mess me up, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, long flights, they're hard work, man. Do you
I
screech at
know.
the airport?
Well, I will. I won't have
Yeah.
Nova, which will make it a little bit easier just to I'll be by myself, even though it's a very sterile, bright place with lots of watches and perfumes being advertised to me. I'll find a nice spot where I can chill.
Yeah, the corner of the room somewhere, just leave me alone and let me stretch out my poor hips from sitting for 8 hours.
Exactly, because I'm
Yeah.
about to sit for another 10 hours, so I got to do something.
Yeah. Man, that's cool. I'm super excited to hear what that's like. Eh? He's a gold mine of knowledge and experience, so you'll pick up some more hacks.
Especially in terms of fascia, because he's really gone down the rabbit hole over the last few years. So I'm excited to see what he's tapping into.
I remember-
I was going to say, how's your injury going?
Fantastic, man. A cruciate's different. A cruciate hits a bit different. So full rupture PCL for listeners, and my physio was honest with me. Surgery, it might be needed, but fortunately, all the hard work that we've done previously, and basically building up a sort of knee structure and leg lower body strength ability means that the recovery goes pretty smoothly, and the PCL did manage to reattach without any surgery. Outstanding news. So I'm already walking around. I'm off the crutches. I've got to be careful. I had one scare. My crutch slipped, and as my crutches slipped, my leg just instinctively kicks out to keep you balance. And I felt that pull. I felt that that ligament catch, and I felt it retract back. And I had a little moment where I was like, man, did I just do damage to this? But we were sweet. Passed all the tests. We're still attached, and I'm still able to now load bear, put some weight through my VMO. I haven't lost too much size either. I haven't measured them yet, but the quads are still pretty, they're a bit smaller. 3 weeks of
The
not being able
VMO,
to squat. Yeah,
for the listeners, the VMO is the teardrop just above
Yes.
the knee. That's the muscle, the vastus medialis obliquus.
Yeah, it's a big stabilizer of our knee joint, important for knee health, important for it to
Yeah.
not be too tight.
A very important, like, end range extender of the knee.
Yeah. And people are incredibly weak. A lot of people can be incredibly weak. As soon as they compress through the core, you get people to try to straighten their leg, and they're pointing their toes and they're doing all sorts, but their leg isn't actually extending. So
Yeah.
tight
I think I
hamstring, weak
remember
quad.
I remember doing that at uni. They had like a
Oh,
machine based. I was doing it with, what's his name? Had a mind blank. He was doing his master's research on it, but it was the same thing. Like, they kind of locked you in a flex position at the torso, and then you had to fully extend your leg.
yeah. This isn't like your standard leg extension where you can rack the machine and
Nah,
just lean
no.
back and it's just
This is kind of
Jesus.
like exercise physiology lab.
Yeah. Beginners do get some quick breakthroughs with it when they time into learning how to, extend the knee and flex the knee. But if it's not been one of our focus areas, we can be incredibly limited with that mobility. Fortunately, I had a full Nordic and reverse Nordic. So the knee injury, like the tissue is going to be fine. It's just the ligament that was the concern.
Wow, and all the muscles surrounding the knee joint, they're going to be keeping your knee in the optimal position to allow that ligament to reattach, which is quite rare. Like, for most people, if it's a full rupture, you get in surgery.
Yep.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
and very keen to
incredibly
grateful
grateful.
how it progresses.
Yeah. I'm excited to I don't know, sort of just give people that are in their mid-30s still doing jiu-jitsu a bit of hope, these knee injuries aren't the end of your career. They aren't the end of your athletic ability. Pay the toll early and also do the rehab afterwards and you're going to be fine.
Yes. Good analogy.
Yeah.
Pay the toll.
Pay the toll. Got to pay it.
And
that's just the injury front. We've also got a comp coming up in Invercargill. So the guys are cruising down there for a jiu-jitsu comp on Saturday. So that'll be fun. They've been peaking a little bit around their strength and conditioning and just ramping up the intensity with their rounds in the gym. So cool to see them in action.
How many boys? Well, you got girls as well, or just boys?
They do. Yeah, we've got some girls going down there. Got some ladies. Man, there must be 20.
Oh wow,
20.
huge.
Yeah, heading down Dunedin, Army.
And that's down to Carlson Gracie.
Yep, that's the one. So some familiar faces. I think you might know a couple of them down there. Eh? Sam, maybe.
Yeah, Ashworth.
Yep.
Yeah. There's a few of them, and Braden. I think I rolled at that comp a couple of years ago.
Buzzy.
They've all probably
strong, dude.
They're all probably up in the bouts now. I haven't done it solidly for at least a year, so.
Yeah, jiu-jitsu is one of those, there's hobbyists and then there's obsessed. And if you're a hobbyist, you're kind of playing with fire if you're only doing it once every couple of weeks.
Well, if you're losing, everything that you learn, if you don't do it for another week, you forget it. You need to be constantly, re-engaging that neural pathway to remember it, so it becomes automatic.
For sure. Yeah, and it's that recall that I've noticed people struggle with. They'll have these pauses for 5 to 10 seconds, and then they have these aha moments, and it's that's too slow.
There's a perfect move in this position. I've been in this position before, and you take 10 seconds, and then Steve's behind you.
This opportunity has disappeared. It's fleeting. You gotta almost operating on instinct at the level we go, but yeah, it's important for beginners to recall it, repeat it, within 24 hours, and then again at the end of the week. And then if you can do it again within 3 months, you're going to retain that and be able to recall it better as soon as you stop. I feel like my reaction time disappears. I'll get back on the mats after however long it is with this, 12 weeks probably, and it'll just be my reaction time, but everything that I've earned prior, because it's been so reinforced over the last 10 years, it's in there. And I'm coaching, I'm still engaged with the sport, I'm still watching it, so
yeah.
I'll just be slow.
It's fascinating, man. It's such a cool sport. I don't know if you call it a sport. It's an art form, mate.
Yeah, it's a combo. Art, science, sport.
Yeah. Art, science, sport, philosophy, lifestyle.
Yeah. What else have we got going on?
I was going to tell you about I've got a little event coming up. I'm doing a well-being based retreat at Franz Josef.
Yes. The glacier.
Yeah. It's with an insurance company doing it with AIA, which is like, it's quite interesting to think of the interlink between health and, I guess, industry. The insurance companies being a massive part of it, because like health is something that you can't just throw money at. You kind of have to do the work and build yourself in all those dimensions, physically, mentally, socially, spiritually. But you can throw money at, if something does go wrong, I get financial support. And that's why life insurance is, health insurance is so big. So it's quite a fascinating thing. And like for the down the line, I think it makes sense to, create products and tools that people in that line of work can actually use.
Yeah. There's got to be hacks for the 9-to-5ers. The people who can't get 4-day work weeks, or they're there for 40 hours a week in an office. The standing desk isn't enough to maintain health.
And then the travel, man. Like people are traveling 2 hours a day, like an hour in the morning, hour at night.
Yeah.
You work for 8, 10 hours of your day you're sitting, and then you might be lucky to, to get a little session and go for a run, but it's tough out there.
Yeah, and I think like when workplaces start introducing, more support around it, like I've heard, I can't remember the company, but it's a Dunedin-based company, and they're doing with their professional development, they're not wasting money on guest speakers or more colourful things to put around the office. They're investing money in getting their guys doing outward bound stuff, cool. Giving them time to go and train in lunch hours. So I'm able to train a couple of guys between 12 to 1
cool.
that are involved with this company. And it's like, that's the sort of stuff we need to support, because it's only going to make you more passionate about your workplace. It's only going to make you more productive. And it's going to give people that outlet to sort of break we know if you get a quick break, you exercise, you come back, you're way more productive.
Now, outward bound, just for the viewers that don't know what it is that a New Zealand-based thing primarily, or is it international? I don't actually know.
It's a good question. Surely there's some international. I imagine America's definitely got variations where they go out into the wildness and do stuff. New Zealand's one seems to be more like team building, out and about, problem solving. But they are out in nature. They're exposed to the elements, which is a pretty important part of being a human. Get exposed to that stuff. And it sounds like positive team building experiences, like, but also hands on.
And it's often done like adolescents, people that may be having trouble with, they're not necessarily aligned with school and the values of going to school, and they're truant often.
Yeah,
you hear these turnaround stories of students and like children going outward bound and then completely having a new lease on life.
Yeah.
And
have you do you know the Services Academy? Does that?
No.
So the Services Academy was a military or Army and Navy and Air Force run course for 16 to 18-year-olds, and they had hubs around New Zealand. So there was the West Coast, Linwood and Christchurch. We had one in Dunedin.
Cool.
They had James Cook. And basically these schools would get kids that were exactly that, not regulated. Maybe they've got NCA level 1 or 2 and they just wanted to change, or maybe they weren't getting any credits. And they gave them a way to basically upskill around those sort of military values. Yep. A lot of people got scouted straight away as soon as the course ended, 1-year course, and then they went straight into the forces 17.
Whoa.
Really, really positive effects, but it got shut down. A kid ended up getting hit by a truck. The truck driver, was driving and drifted across the road on his phone, killed a kid who was on the Services Academy course, and all of the schools around New Zealand got shut down. But the results of the course, it sucks, because the results it was getting were pretty crazy, pretty awesome stuff. A lot of teenage boys probably needed it, more so than another year at school, twiddling their thumbs.
Yeah, man, and it's in those events where you'd hope that politicians or whoever that is making the decision to say yay or nay to that program, have they actually done the research and looked into like the effects that was having on these young men and women potentially?
Yep, there were many. I can think of like 5 off the top of my head that went straight into Navy. So
yeah, well,
Yeah,
Bro, Sam, older brother, showed us this movie with Steven Seagal a couple of nights ago, and it's called
OG.
Under Siege.
Ah, yes.
Have you seen it?
Haven't seen it. Seen the cover on the DVD store.
Oh man, it's so funny. He's like he he's on this boat that has nukes that gets taken over, so the boat's under siege, and he's just working as a cook because he's done his time. He's got his like massive line of medals. He's one of the most revered. Like he's a
Of
weapons
course.
expert, explosives expert, martial arts
Intelligence
expert.
specialist. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's the one guy that gets he gets locked up down on the chiller, and then when all the terrorists, you could say, or the people that are coming up to take over the boat, he's the only one that's able to save the day, and he just starts like, it's Die Hard on steroids because he never gets hurt. He never looks like he's
cool.
going to. Yeah. They've pretty much taken the Die Hard like layout of a movie and just put it on a boat.
Man, I think Die Hard took it to a new level when they launched a car into a helicopter. Like that was it. That was when like Die Hard was GOAT status. Already was, in my opinion. Best Christmas movies around.
It's funny, like this is early days in the podcast, but I'm automatically thinking it's just like two dudes talking jujitsu, talking Die Hard.
You gotta go down the Die Hard rabbit hole, man. I read, on that note, actually, random fact, let's just touch base on it. I read that, don't know if it's true, Jason Statham has something in his contract that never allows him to lose a fight. So if someone wants to go out there and dissect all of his movies and find out if he ever loses a fight, that'd be awesome. Save me the time.
That's
But,
cool.
yeah, he'll turn down a movie script if he has to lose.
I wonder if there was like an amount of money that would make him change that, because I feel like The Rock,
Almost
Dwayne
everything.
Johnson, had something similar.
And they're in the same movies.
Yeah, and there was that whole riff with him and Vin Diesel, so like,
Oh,
who knows?
Yeah. Well, it's important for if we drag this into like sort of a strength and conditioning model. Like, I'm a big believer that jiu-jitsu guys and MMA guys shouldn't be missing lifts. Like, we shouldn't be hitting numbers that are way too hard, getting grubby, losing our tech, and experiencing failure. It's bad for our psyche. We want to stay positive. I can just see this drawing a slight connection there between the movie world. Jason Statham or The Rock starts losing. What does it do for their image, their sales of their shoes, and whatever else they
And
like?
their psyche.
Yes, it's important.
Like and when you refer to the lifts, as a S&C coach, strength and conditioning, and a jiu-jitsu practitioner, when you say the lifts, are there like 3 or 4 ones that come to mind?
Variations. There's 3 or 4 movement patterns that I would suggest we should all be working towards in jiu-jitsu and MMA, but also if you are just wanting to get a little bit more bang for your buck out of your normal gym routine, like we should be working a squat pattern, developing a good squat, deadlift through the hinge, and military press is one that's really sort of powerful. I think a lot of people spend a lot of time bench pressing, working their lats into the right position, and whatever it is, grubby push-ups, dumbbells, doesn't matter, but overhead press is really important. And so those are sort of like 3 of the main lifts that I target with my guys, but variations within those lifts, right? So you can change the way the weight's distributed with the bar for a beginner, like a Zercher is a really entry-level position. The anterior loading.
Single leg.
Bingo, yeah. Yeah, and that comes down more to like your stances, your fundamental stances. So a lot of people don't have a good back squat, whether or not they're too tight through the thoracic, which is overlooked. A lot of people start with the ankles or weak quads, but it doesn't matter what part of your chain is jeopardized. If you can't barbell back squat and they say, oh, the squat's not for me, well, no, it is. We just need to spend time developing that lift.
Yeah.
Lunges or split squats or front foot elevated stance work, that is a great way to build up the strength, and then you can work on the pattern as a technical aspect.
Yeah, and just like reminding the viewers and the people that are learning from us that you should not really be doing any heavy repetitions of the lifts until you've done your time. You've done the volume, you've done 6 to 12 weeks of learning that movement pattern. If you're brand new to training, you've done a protocol of like just body weight where you're learning body positioning before even adding weight. So it's like you need to, I almost think of it as like doing heavy lifts should be a reward for doing the 6 to 12 weeks beforehand of 8 to 12 repetitions where you're just really hammering in that movement
volume.
pattern. And it's
Yeah,
like,
I think
now you can
like
have fun and go heavy.
bingo. Yeah, body weight is harder than people give it credit for. Like body weight's entry level, push-ups, pull-ups, dips, but doing them well is actually pretty advanced. A good
Yeah.
push-up, you probably should be doing, 10 of them strongly without your scapulars rising up to your ears. Dips, people will just program chin-ups and dips, but they've got no idea of their athlete's shoulder capabilities. Like their shoulder extension might be trash.
Yeah.
So how are they going to dip? They're just going to be rounding and reinforcing bad patterns. So I like to, and it's really important to know, if you are a beginner, you can run the same program for like 3 blocks. You could run that for 18 weeks, 24 weeks.
Yeah.
You're going to get gains. You're going to keep just progressively overloading week to week, changing variations if you want, but you could pretty much do the same thing and you're going to get results.
Yeah.
When we start to get more towards our intermediate level, that's when we have to sort of change it up. But people aren't consistent enough. Just like you said, they rush in to try to get heavy. They get greedy. They want to pack on way more weight than they're capable of. Their technique goes, and they still claim that they've done it, but, they haven't.
There's always consistency over intensity, eh?
For sure. Especially when you're doing jiu-jitsu and MMA, you're cross-training. You've got an evening session, which, we shouldn't, but we spoke about that in the last podcast. We should be able to train these sort of high-intensity jiu-jitsu sessions earlier in the day. It's going to give us better sleep. But New Zealand don't have that luxury. Evening it is. Finish at 8:30 p.m., 9 p.m. Make sure you've done your strength work earlier that day. I've heard other sort of coaches' takes on this, and they think you should do your hard rounds with jiu-jitsu first, and then do your strength and conditioning later. We're going to be lifting weights at midnight if we do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We don't have that.
As soon as you open Booth BJJ, you can have your 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. sessions, and they'll be full. There'll be 30 people each session.
Yeah, well, we know that. It's just about where. It's just about where in the country we decide to do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Queenstown's still an option? Queenstown's still an option?
Anywhere's still an option. Queenstown's beautiful. It's a bit too populated for my liking, but at the same, just too busy. Just too busy for my liking.
Yeah.
But I'm also greedy, and I want, nature and peace, but I also want lots of members. And that kind of exist together.
Oh, man, it definitely can. As soon as we get the marketing and advertising right, and it's like, I can't wait to be in Dunedin to roll consistently again and to work on the business and in every aspect of life. It's going to be so good.
Yeah. I can't wait. Hanging out for next year, mate.
Yes, bro. And then we'll actually be able to do some of these podcasts in person and get guests
studio.
in person.
Yeah, and that list's building up. I'll send that to you after this. We've got people lining up to talk to us.
Yeah, I've got an initial list of 20. I haven't sent messages to all of them yet, but slowly starting to get an idea of who would be cool to get on the pod and who would offer value and just a good yarn in general.
Yeah, prestigious group they are.
Bro, I was going to touch on a particular learning moment that I had this week, and it was about the delayed effects from training and how long it actually takes to recover. Because often with resistance training, the word on the street was 48 hours, give it a couple of days, and then you should be able to train that kind of region of the body again. And I really feel like it is at least 3 days, if not more, before my body feels the effects in my gait cycle, how I'm walking. I feel everything is fully recovered to the point where I could sprint and be really activated in any kind of athletic endeavor. And when we're training this often, it's quite a difficult thing to find the balance, especially if you're trying to do the skill work with your sport, the resistance training to develop strength and durability, and you're trying to keep the cardio up. I guess with you and jiu-jitsu, cardio would kind of already be a part of jiu-jitsu, so you don't need to worry about running as much.
Yeah, for sure.
But it takes a lot more time to recover than people think, and especially as you're climbing the ladder of training experience. An elite sprinter needs at least 3 days to recover from an all-out sprint, 72 hours for their nervous system to recuperate and be able to fully...
Yeah, hoping you'd touch on is the nervous system there. But if we sort of just run it back to conditioning, yes, for jiu-jitsu, for sure, MMA, you will be getting your aspects of your conditioning through the sport. And if you just keep that in mind about how often you're training in the evenings, most jiu-jitsu guys are four to six times a week. You can undulate that with intensity. So you can have, today I'm doing 3 6-minute rounds, I'm going hard out. And then the next day you can be like, I'm just going to beat up blue belts and I'm going to do it for 45 minutes and I'm going to breathe through my nose the whole time.
Oh yeah, I'm just going to let myself get tapped out today. I'm a 50%. I'll go 50%.
Yeah. There's days where you have to.
Yeah.
And then other sort of aspects that you can bring into it is you can build up your conditioning with other things that aren't just smashing the roads. You can incorporate light circuit work into your strength, sort of muscular endurance style, WOD style, but like not breaking the bank. Again, heart rate monitors, heart rate recoverability, checking out that first minute, just looking after your heart health as well. But what type of training are you doing that you feel like, maybe draw on an example that you feel like, hey, I need 3 days to recover from this, because some of the stuff you do is pretty impressive in terms of the positions you get into and the time you spend there.
Well, I think the other week I felt it from squatting, and I'd probably done too much volume in the session. I didn't stick to the plan where I actually did probably 30 or 40 more repetitions of the squat. I started with like 20 body weight, 20 with the bar, 20 at 20 at 40, 20 at 60, and then I was like, okay, I'm fully turned on, and I went down to like 3x5.
Yeah.
But I did big volume to warm up, and especially that, I think that 60 kg, 20 rep, I felt great at the time. But then I didn't feel the activation of the body like I wanted to the next day or the 2 days after. It took quite a while for me to feel like, I'm back from that session.
That's like you said, it's too much volume for a real 3x5 afterwards, if that makes sense. It's a great squat session. I'd never do jiu-jitsu the same day. If you were doing your 3x5s afterwards, did you feel, were your numbers across all 5 reps the same, and was your speed the same of how you were moving the bar? Did you feel weak? Just out of curiosity.
Well, I was actually focusing on an eccentric, like slow lowering phase. So it wasn't too heavy. I think it was at about, the highest I went was like 107.5. So it's probably started 90, 100. Then I went up to around 105, 107. So
yeah, nice.
Yeah.
So I'd break those sessions up personally, and I'd have
2 sessions in
strength. Yeah, strength is the skill, and we want to ramp, but we don't want to ramp to the point where we've already done way too much volume, and then we start doing heavy lifts. Like you also move well, so your prep could literally just be, what's the opposite movement of a squat? I'm going to hang, get my core activated, do a squat there, some prep breathing, some brace. You could do some light hip flexor work and maybe some lighter load, but you're pretty flexible, strong athlete. You could start racking the bar, one warm-up set, move 60, maybe move 80. Okay, cool. I'm going to hit 100 and I'm going to do 3 sets of 5. Next week, cool, I hit my target. I'm going to go 3 sets of 102.5 and just see how that feels. People, sort of rush to try to cram too much into a session. I would break up my strength, have that as main focus. Don't want to fatigue the system too much with that neural to try to recruit. And then within 2 days, you're going to find that you're actually able to do some more volume squats. They don't have to be your main movement. They could literally be as part of a superset on an upper body day.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would definitely break that many squats in a session.
And because I did too much work on the squat, I was like, I'm not going to do as many accessories. So then it's kind of like, it didn't make sense. And I felt it in my body. I was like, it took so much longer to recover.
Yeah. And
obviously, like the volume plus the heavy work, it's like the body's getting put through torture, or it's getting like some punishment.
Yeah, the total volume that you would have moved for that session is huge. Like 20 at 60 plus the eccentrics, like that's a lot of time. People don't realize how much. Yeah, you're spending time under load. I'd probably build to like a 5 rep, easy 5 rep, leave a couple reps in reserve, and then I'd add my eccentric in afterwards. On a different session, I'll do volume another day. But yeah, you're going to be feeling the effects of that for a couple of days.
thinking of this, Steve, like, even if that session was optimal and I didn't do too much, if I then went and did another session, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and they both had, they all had some lower body stuff in there, compounded over time, it's like the body's done a lot of work, and if you're trying to run, if you're trying to do jiu-jitsu or whatever your sport-specific skills are, it's really you gotta plan and prepare. Like,
You can do it.
look at
Like
what
you
you're doing.
can.
Like,
Yeah, well, that's exactly it. And I'm glad you brought that. Look at what you're doing. Like, look at total workload throughout the week, throughout the month. I think this is something people focus on day by day, but they're not taking into account how intense their competition was on Saturday, or how intense we trained last night at open mats. Just because my program says I'm meant to do heavy press today, but they were fighting to the death, literally 11 hours before they woke up and got to the gym. You probably shouldn't be hitting those heavy numbers today. Let's back off. Let's get some movement. Let's strengthen what we can, and let's accept that it is what it is.
it's like, why was I shaking after that? Oh, that's right. Your body thought you just fought off a tiger.
Yeah.
Or a black belt.
And that's probably a good segue into a little bit of Q&A that we've got coming through.
Yeah, bro.
Because one of the questions, and I'll dig them up, but one question that came through was, let me find it. So cooldowns after jiu-jitsu in the evening, how do you ease your mind after a challenging session before you go to sleep? So let's unpack that for one of our listeners. Cooldowns for a grappling session. How do you ease your mind and start to relax immediately after the evening training session? And it was a challenging session specifically. So I'll start. Feel free to pipe in when you feel like you have some value to add to it. But for me, I always found like session should focus like for 15 minutes, make a decision to stop rolling. I'm done. I'm going to have 3 more rolls. I'm going to have however many it is, but then stop, because we get pulled into these rounds with all our friends, and go and start in your corner of the room a little stretching group where you're still talking to each other. You're still hanging out. Target your thoracic, because we spend so much time squeezing rounded in front of us. Target your hips, 90-90, hip flexor, quad, and maybe a little bit of hamstring, and that's your bang for your buck. You're going to open up your back, you're going to work on your hips, and get into your hammies and quads. Probably your neck as well, but it doesn't have to be a full session. You can literally do 10 minutes, activate your nose, breathe parasympathetically, start to slow down that heart rate. Hydrate, like not a lot of people hydrate enough for jiu-jitsu. We need electrolytes. Like, find me another sport where you sweat as much as spandex wrestling.
Straight.
Right. We need to be sinking. Like, if you've ever weighed in before a jiu-jitsu session and afterwards, we have to be putting electrolytes in our body during it and after it.
And how many liters? Like, if you did a 2-hour rolling session, you're probably getting at least 2 liters down you afterwards, eh?
Yeah, for sure. I sweat out on the majority of my sessions. I was sweating out 2.4 kilo average. Some days 3, some days 2. That was pretty, like, water's not going to hydrate you. You've got to have the electrolytes in there. And also, we are open. We're in a position where we're hot and our vascular system's doing what it's meant to do. Perfect time to hydrate. So people just finish the session and go to the car. You're just leaving recovery on the table. It should already be happening while you're driving home.
Yeah, and for the question, how they asked about easing the mind, I would say practicing to have more conscious awareness on the breath and to be able to have sustained attention on the breath, which is difficult for many people, especially if you're probably jacked up after rolling and fighting for a couple of hours. But a good one to practice would be to imagine that there is a feather just in front of the nostrils. Close your eyes, start breathing in and out the nose, and then see if you can get to the point where your nasal breath doesn't move the feather whatsoever. So you're really just making the breath slower, more subtle, more silent, to the point where you can down-regulate and then you start to recover. Until you get into that place, the mind is running rampant. So using the breath as that That one
That's
point of
awesome.
focus. Yeah, it'll really
It's
help.
going to, that's the old samurai trick, eh?
Yeah, bro, yeah.
Before battle. That does lead into an also nice, real good question was, it's a breath question. And are there any
Ooh.
specific breathing protocols that could be used to increase performance for jiu-jitsu or MMA? I'd target that as a recovery method. We
Big
could
time.
bring that in between rounds for MMA athletes. They've only got 1 minute. Might as well focus on what you can control in the moment.
It's such a big question because breathing is so interdimensional, and it's, you know, literally every dimension of your life is affected by the way you breathe. She's Whoever it is referring to performance. So I would be focusing on like carbon dioxide tolerance, exhaling, and seeing how long you can hold your breath,
Yep.
and then starting to introduce some walking or running, jogging at a light pace whilst holding the breath after the exhale, and then extending that time.
Yeah. So you're counting time, not steps.
Yeah, either or, either or.
Either or. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's good.
and it's a hard one because like when the body gives you the signal that you need to breathe, that is the time that you should probably let the inhale naturally happen. Where there are a lot of people will keep holding on the exhale to the point where they've held for more than a minute, and they're like, but it's
Yeah. And
it's not natural.
It's those first 3 breaths or that first 30 seconds after where you actually control that inhale and that exhale, because otherwise you're gasping and you're just adding stress to stress. So you want to build up a tolerance,
Great
and then
point.
when you know it's time to breathe, you still own that breath. That's still your range. You still breathe in and out in a controlled fashion.
Great point. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you've held the breath after the exhale for so long that your breath is labored and it takes you more than 2 or 3 breaths to get back to a natural rhythm, you've gone too hard.
And we'd be performing rounds. You'll be doing rounds of
Yeah.
this.
I would say 3 to 5 rounds
Yep.
if you're new to it, and cap it there. You could push that to 3 sets of 3 to 5 if you're wanting to extend it a bit further.
Yeah. And so I do. This is one of my methods. I'll touch base on it. I do this when I'm walking the dogs. Pick a route.
Always training.
And yeah, or just like it's like you said, it's like 3 to 5, 4 to 6 rounds, and you're going to get bang for your buck in terms of how well you can breathe and how well you can deal with, like you said, the carbon dioxide tolerance and the air hunger threshold. We can bring this in with rolling with blue belts. Breathe out longer, light pause, keep rolling, and just see how much you can build on your focus and attention when you're a little bit hungry for air.
Yeah.
I've got one I can also add for breathing performance for BJJ and MMA. So anything that involves getting fitter and getting better at dealing with that oxygen, carbon dioxide, and structure and balance is a good idea. People start gasping through their mouth. As soon as their mouth opens, they're probably going to be getting dehydrated. I think it's like 30 to 40% faster.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I think it's even a bit higher, man. Like 40 to 50% more fluid lost when you exhale through the mouth compared to the nose.
Yeah, so mouth guards. Like, guys, if you're rolling, keep your mouth guard in always and learn to breathe through your nose. The exercise Fraser spoke about before actually unblocks your nose. And let's just normalize nasal breathing all through the night. That's your recovery, bang for your buck. If you've got to put tape on, do it. I've got strapping tape and I'm like rugged up. But eventually you don't need it. And I think maybe after maybe 12 weeks that I was doing it every single day, taping my face, everything got better. Breathing pattern, my nose was never blocked, no headaches.
Recovery.
Like you're breathing for 8 hours overnight through your nose. You're getting fitter, you're recovering better. It's a good hack to normalize.
Yeah, man, Cora and I both had headaches the other day. We're like, what is that? And it was probably dehydration. Reiterating the importance of getting some electrolytes in with the fluid. You can't just drink 2 or 3 liters of water and expect to be good.
Not touching it.
Got to get the electrolytes in. Amazing, man. Any other questions, or should we look at capping it there?
Let's do one more, just because it connects.
And we'll keep adding to this list, so anyone that's listening, please sing out to either Steve or myself and send your questions through, because we're going to keep covering them.
Yeah, this is connected, very closely connected to the last one, and I think it's going to shine light on just how much, oh man, how much we can add to people's overall health. But question is, I would be keen to know how you deal with competition performance anxiety. Something beyond just keep competing and it'll get better and easier. Because I've tried that, it hasn't worked for me. I'd love to hear techniques.
Ooh, I like that.
Powerful. To the point, obviously someone's struggling with competition nerves, high expectations of themselves, and that sort of overwhelming feeling.
Yeah.
I'll talk about what I did at Peak Freaks, real briefly. Beginners, first competition, you are going to hear your name over the speaker. Fraser, Beck, Matt, 3, and you're going to panic. So let's normalize that. In a room, around our friends, in a safe environment. You're going to hear that, you're going to step on the mats, you're going to shake your opponent's hand, you're going to shake the ref's hand. Just focus on that for now, get that done.
Yes.
Little bite-sized chunks towards normalizing what you experience on a competition day, because so many beginners are just freaking out, losing their mind, and like they said, they can compete time and time and time again. They don't go through the pattern, they don't normalize that sort of response. We should all be able to deal with that.
And that's like effectively role playing. Before you're actually in that situation, get used to doing all of those things and know that it's going to happen, because it's just it's a part of the game.
A little bit of eyes on us when we're rolling. Allow the teammates to watch and coach, and just normalize that people are going to watch you in your safe space, in your room. Get used to that.
Yeah, because especially on the day when you've got 50 or more people packed around the quad watching, it's like it can be intense. I would touch on as well with like anxiety. There is a linear correlation with your ability to stay focused and to maintain attention on the breath, and the likelihood of experiencing anxiety. And it continues to go up. So if you are suffering from chronic anxiety and it's affecting you every day, day to day, some of those people that have chronic anxiety will only become aware of their breath. That's i.e. consciously being able to recognize the breath cycle, the inhale and the exhale, when it's too late. When they hit a panic attack and they start hyperventilating, it's like, keep going up the line. A Zen meditator that meditates every day for extended periods of time is very, very unlikely to experience anxiety. And when the name gets called out at the jiu-jitsu comp, and the mind, the internal dialogue just starts going so fast that, there's no way in hell you're going to be able to come back to the breath unless you've practiced it beforehand. Unless you've introduced a form of meditation and contemplation where you're developing the awareness of the breath, it's really going to come in handy in a situation like that.
And that's a nice way to touch on like saunas and ice baths. Anytime you can add environmental stress where you have to get your breath under control, it's going to simulate the sort of panic response. Then you're going to learn your own breathing strategies, whether that's activating your vagus nerve or humming or whatever it is. Man, you go into a deep sauna where you want to leave that room, you're going to need your breath.
Yeah, exactly. Like exposure to the extremities and the stress that is involved with that, the extremities of temperature or whatever it may be, it extends your threshold and your spectrum to be able to deal with stress. So
exactly.
And in every dimension, not just physically, it's mentally and emotionally. It all comes into it.
We have to talk about how those nerves are actually getting you better physically, emotionally, mentally. If you can fuel them, if you can allow, okay, cool, I'm feeling that response. I've got the butterflies. Good. It means I'm going to perform better. It's showtime.
Good.
Yeah. Good. It's just perspective.
Yep.
You need to feel that. Everyone feels that. Doesn't matter what level you're at. Everything else is smoke and lights. You're going to fall to the level of your training. Believe in it and allow the overwhelming response that you're feeling right now to fuel your action moving forward. And hopefully, breathe along the way.
Well said, Steve. And I would touch on, just to conclude, that in sports psychology, I remember Ken Hodge, who used to be like the sports psych for the All Blacks. He would say that you need the right amount of arousal. So, anxiety, you've got too much, But the same thing happens if you don't have enough of that kind of
Yeah.
anxious energy or that arousal,
Underperforming.
you're not going to be able to get up. So
Yeah.
you could look at it as actually a good thing that you're that nervous, that you're getting anxious. You will only need a little bit to be able to dial it back, and you'll still be at that peak performance range.
Yeah, for sure. That's probably something that's going to be super valuable to people that are new to competition, but also, they just struggle with the nerves. So
Yeah, man.
let's normalize it. Let's allow it to happen, and let's get good at dealing with it.
100%. All right. Well, that'll be
That
it
us.
for this episode 2 of
Let's do it.
Optimise. Don't
Wrap
forget
us up, Fraser.
don't forget to follow us, both Steve and myself. I'm Fraser Beck Breathe on Instagram. You could send a message to Fraser at optimalhealthmodel.com if you need to get in touch via email. What about you, Steve?
Yep, Stephen Booth, JJ on Instagram. Keep an eye out for a website coming out for strength and conditioning. And if you ever need, message me. I'm a response away. Freaks JJNZ as well as another plug. But message my personal one. I'm more responsive on that.
Awesome.
Till next time.
Yeah,
what are we
man.
talking about next time?
Well, I had a good idea, and it's based on Carol Dweck's book, Growth Mindset versus Fixed Mindset. This whole idea of how can we stay in a state where we see the bright side, where we continue to strive for growth and evolution, as opposed to accepting where we are and thinking that we are stuck and stagnant. I think it'd be a cool theme for an episode.
It's a continuum. Let's look at how we can move along it.
Yes.
I like it.
Cool, man.
All right, what a pleasure. Take it easy.
Peace, brother. Have a good one.